In case you've missed any of our previous programs, Teens Talk Show is all about discussing topics that are under-discussed or are spoken by from the older generation. We feel this platform can help many of you understand what goes on in the life of teenagers and their perspectives. We also want to introduce more topics, and we would like to take any suggestions that you guys might have.
To call in, our telephone number is 01902 972 150. And if you would like to text any messages, text on our WhatsApp number 074 40 420 432. But remember, you cannot call on WhatsApp.
Last week, we continued off with our extracurricular series. If you are interested in finding out more about them and which ones which you are suited to, and how they can benefit you, you can listen on our Facebook page and listen to us on Ramadan Radio Wolves app, the website www.ramadanradiowolves.com, or on www.ramadanradio.net.
So today we are introducing a new series all about options. At the end of Key Stage 3, you will be asked to choose your GCSE subjects. We will discuss what they are, which subjects are compulsory, and those that are not, and some guidance on how to choose your options for GCSEs. Overall, our aim is just to give you guys some advice.
So, you guys might be thinking, what are options? So, the term options is used to describe the subject that you can choose to take for your GCSE level. Options are usually chosen towards the end of Year 9, then you can spend years 10 and 11 studying for these subjects, leading up to your GCSEs in the summer term of Year 11.
So, which subjects are compulsory at GCSE level? There are 3 core subjects that you have to study in Key Stage 4, with the vast majority going on to take GCSEs in these subjects. These are English,
Maths
and Science.
So, Maths, English and Science are the core subjects that everyone must take for GCSEs in England. English literature is compulsory in schools, and so is English language in majority of schools, but there are exceptions, so do check.
Science may be split into 3 separate sciences, biology, chemistry and physics, or into 2 combined science GCSEs. Check with your teachers to find out what rules your school has.
So many schools have different core subjects that they want. What we have just mentioned is kind of the overall general core subjects that people have in their secondary school. But we'll tell you a little bit about our core subjects that we have.
So we have the ones that we've just mentioned: Maths, English Lit, English Language and Sciences. You also have a difference between combined sciences and triple science. Mm-hmm. So with combined sciences, how many lessons do you have a week? I think it's like
2 of each science.
2 of each science.
So the way that triple and combined science works is that you both of them you study the same physics, chemistry and biology. Mm-hmm. The only difference is when it comes to the GCSE exam. So with triple science, you have a paper for physics, a paper for chemistry and a paper for biology. All separated, and with that you get 3 separate GCSE grades. However, with combined science, as you know by the name, they're combined together. Yeah. So you have a paper, say, for example, one on physics and on biology, and then the next paper could be the rest of biology and chemistry. So you actually only get 2 GCSE levels.
And in our school, we also do RE.
As a core subject.
And a language, yeah.
Yes. However, you can choose to drop it if you don't take triple science.
So it can be classed as an option, kind of. Mm-hmm. And then you also do your option, which there are many. And
what you do is you can choose out of your humanities, which for us is geography and history. But for many of the schools, RE is a humanity.
So,
in addition, students can have 3 foundation subjects at this level, but they don't necessarily have to take them in GCSEs. So the foundation subjects are computing,
physical education
and citizenship.
All schools are also required to provide religious education in Key Stage 4, but students don't have to take GCSEs in these subjects. So for our school, we do have to take a GCSE in RE. So what GCSE options are there? So you will have an option to choose. First, from a modern foreign language, these most commonly taught are French, German, and Spanish, but some schools also offer languages like Mandarin and Russian. Some schools require you to take modern foreign language, so check with your teachers whether these are part of your options or compulsory.
You also need to take a humanity, as we've mentioned, out of geography and history, and for majority of other schools, RE is also included.
An art subject like music, drama, art and design, or media studies.
A technical subject such as design and technology, food technology, or computer science.
And all students have to do PE in years 10 and 11, but you can also take it as a GCSE option.
In England, you will choose the subjects you want to study for GCSEs in Year 9, but in some schools this might happen in Year 8. So even if you're in Year 7, it's not too early to start at thinking about your options. Different schools will ask students to pick their options at different times, but you'll get plenty of notice and information from your teachers. So we'll go into a little bit about how our school presented options to us, and I hope that it makes you more aware.
Yeah, so for our school, we chose our options in year 8, and what they did was we got a booklet and it told us all the different options that we can get, and you're meant to choose 5 options in year 8, and then in year 9 not year 9, which in year 9, then you shorten it to taking 3.
So what we actually get given to us is lots of meetings and group talks. Our head of year and our head teacher both come to explain different types of information, so we're really aware of what comes within the subject. They also host meetings for parents, so they have a wider idea of what happens and how to support and help their children, especially in making the decision. So as Lybah said, we do choose our options near to the end of year 8. We choose 5 different subjects where we put them in order of preference. So the first one is the one you want to do the most, and then so on. And so during the time between year 8 and the start of year 9, the school can modify your timetable to the top 3 options that you chose. So with those top 3 options that you choose, majority of the time, those will be the options that you can take. It's very rare that you'll get your 4th or 5th option, just because the school can cater towards what you want. Sometimes it has happened in the past that due to not there's not the required amount of students taking that course. Say if there's only 10 students, they might not run the course completely, in which you will take your 4th option. Now in year 9, what we do is that those 3 subjects are incorporated in our timetable, so we study those for the whole of year 9. During that period of time, you can learn new things, discover if you like the subject or not. You can see if it suits you, because every subject is different. And so when you have those 3 subjects that you've studied, depending, for our school, what they did is if you had triple science, you were only able to take 1 subject on for your GCSEs, as we had a core subject of RE, as well as 3 separate sciences. So we had 10 GCSEs altogether.
10 GCSEs.
But if you were in combined science, you could take 2 options, or you could take 1 option and a language. So in year 9, it's kind of having a taster to see if you want to do it for GCSEs.
Because in year 9, it was obviously very beneficial, because I was looking back and I wanted to do like the ones that I chose, and then once I actually got to the lessons, I didn't want to do that at all. Yeah. So if we didn't have that, I feel like we'd be stuck with things that we don't want to continue. And the whole point of options is to let you have the option to continue with something that you want to do, because there's so many subjects out there that you just don't want to sit in their lessons. So they give you the choice to actually choose what you want to do, and then you obviously have to pay attention then.
Yeah. So then after this period of time has happened, near to the end of year 9, they let you choose again.
Yeah.
And so for what, depending if you have triple or combined science, you can choose which one you want to take with you to GCSEs and which ones you want to drop.
So from the 5, you can only, so you choose one language and then either one of the humanitarians. So that's either history or geography. So which GCSE should I take? This is really down to a combination of things, including your own interests, which optional subjects your school allows you to choose, and your future plans.
So now it's up to you to decide what subject you want to take and carry on with or drop. This is the first time that you can focus on these subjects you like the most and feel you can do well at it.
How to choose your exam subjects. So if you're feeling unsure about your options, here's 3 clear steps to help you make the right choice. The first one is to look ahead. Think about the job you might like to do or the kind of work environment you eventually want to be in, as this could inform your option choices. For instance, if you know that you want to travel with your work, a modern foreign language could be your calling. If you have no idea what kind of job you'd like to do, don't worry. You won't be boxed in if you take a mix of subjects across a range of disciplines to keep your options open.
Number 2 is to give yourself enough time. This isn't a decision to rush, so if you're feeling unsure, talk to teachers and other older students, research the subject and the potential jobs they can lead to online, and feel prepared ahead of making your choice.
Number 3, do what's best for you. Don't just take a subject because your friends are taking the same one, or if you like the teacher. Follow your talents and instincts to do what interests you.
These 3 points are really beneficial to soak in, just because so many of them we have faced while choosing our own subject. The very big one was the third point we said, which was to follow what you want to do by yourself. You shouldn't follow other people like your friends, or you shouldn't be influenced by the teacher who teaches that subject. I remember when we were in year 8 choosing our subject, and many of the times we would want our friends to be in the same subject, because there would be like school trips, different things, and the thought of having someone was comforting.
Yes, because ever since year 7 you're always kind of with the same group of people in your lessons, and that's for 2 years straight. So once you actually have the option to choose what you want to do, obviously everyone's future career can be different and some are similar, but you can't just do something that your friends do because you won't want to do it in the future. You won't want to carry on with it.
And also, don't influence your options based on the teacher either. Many people didn't want to do specific things because they didn't like the teacher, or the teacher was really strict or harsh. However, you never know if you will actually get that teacher or not.
Exactly.
It's a really big point that needs to be addressed. Sometimes teachers do try and address the fact that don't choose options based on your friends, but it's also on your teachers.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like that would have influenced some of my options that I've chose, because obviously they're going to be the ones in charge of your education, and if you don't get on well with them, it can discourage you, but then again, it can also benefit you in the end.
So then also with giving yourself enough time, this is really important to research and look up for the option that you're planning to choose, just because people might assume what is involved with a subject based on the name. even though it might be much more exactly what you thought or quite different.
Yeah, because in art, in the other lessons, like in year 7, year 8, it's always just like kind of like a DOS lesson, I'd say. It's quite fun. You just do what you want to do with your friends. But when it comes to GCSEs, it's a completely different thing. Like, because I did it for 1 year and no, it was nothing like I expected. But people that want to do art in the future, that can be amazing for them because it's always focused on how to like improve your skills. But in year 7 and 8, you're not really experienced to most of the materials that I used. So it's really different.
Yeah, that's really important, just because when you're in Key Stage 3, they don't really show exactly
Yeah.
what's going to be involved or what's going to be taught.
Okay, I've got a question for you, ladies here. I've got one that say it's from a parent, and they've got 2 teenage children. She's saying, and she goes, "What GCSE subjects are compulsory, and which are the optional GCSE subjects that her children can take? Can you give us some guidance?"
Right. So with this, it depends on every school.
Yeah.
Every school is different, but the main core subjects which are compulsory is maths, then English, which includes English language and English literature, and then the sciences, which are chemistry, physics, and biology.
And for the options, you'll be given information on what options your school does because all schools either don't have to do like all the options and some schools do options, so it tells you which ones you can do.
Okay, and she's going on to say, she goes, would the schools do any foundation subjects as well? Such as computing, PE, she's saying.
Yeah. So PE is also an option for our school. You do PE as a course, not a course subject. Is it a course subject?
No. So with PE, as we've been doing since primary school, that will carry on till the end of year 11. However, you can take GCSE PE, which is a subject on its own.
So you have more lessons in PE.
Right, okay, I think you've answered her question. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very
you.
much for the question.
So as we were saying before, giving yourself enough time to really understand the subject is very important. Because sometimes it's not as it seems.
Yeah, you always have to do some more information. You always have to look up more things because it's just not what it sometimes seems. So also because when you're being told that you need to choose your options, they give you a lot of time to actually choose them. So you need to use that for your own good.
Yes, and then also you should do it based on your interests, and also what you're thinking of your career.
Yes.
You don't have to base it just on your career because it might minimize your options
In the future,
drastically.
yeah.
However, with your interests, you should just allow yourself to expand and explore. Many skills that you pick up from different subjects that you may not want to take on can be so beneficial to you in your life, just life lessons and things that you need to know.
Yes, definitely.
I've got another WhatsApp question here.
Okay.
It's actually a parent. She's mainly concerned about the old grades and how they compare to the new grades.
Yeah.
Can you shed some light on that for her?
Yes, so it's been, I think, 3 years with the new system. So at first, I think everybody was so confused.
Yeah, it was so confusing.
And sometimes people don't fully understand yet. So with the new grades, they changed the system initially so that the top of the top could be identified. Just because an A star was so, in their eyes, easy to achieve, they wanted to know who was better or brighter. And so the comparison between the two is very similar to get your head around. So if we tell you the grades just on how they're are compared to each other, then that's
let's do that.
So we'll start from the top because that's easier. So a grade 9 is classed as an A star star or an A star plus, which is higher than an A star. It used to be just the top 2% of the country would achieve that. So that's how it is. Then a grade 8 is an A star.
And
A
then-
grade 7 is an A. A grade 6 is a B. A grade 5 is classed as a high C, so a high pass. And then a grade 4 is classed as a low C, so a low pass. And then it goes to 3, 2, and 1,
Two, yeah.
and then it would go to underperforming, which is the same as a D, an E, and an F.
Okay, just to clarify then, because I'm old school now. So the old grades used to be A, B, C,
Yes. Yeah.
etc., and U, as you mentioned, which was under, what was it?
It was underperforming.
Right, okay. And so the new grades now,
Are
the
in
9 starts as an A star,
star.
and they
Stay
work
star.
down to 1, and then U still in there as well,
Yes.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Okay. Good,
Yes,
good,
I hope that answered your question, because it is quite difficult to get your
Yeah.
head around it.
When we first found that out, oh my gosh, I didn't understand.
No.
Because it's quite different as well, because there's two numbers for like a letter, and it can get quite confusing because there's a higher C and a lower C, so it's quite...
I've got another question that's come in. It's actually from Sadia. She's saying she's going to be new and she's going to be choosing her new GCSE subjects. And she said, from experience from the girls, she goes, can you let me know how do I go about choosing my GCSE subjects, and do I have to think about a career before I choose my GCSE subjects?
So for me, I have no career planned for the future. So what I did when choosing my subjects, I chose the ones that were most interested to me, the ones that I thought I would enjoy, and the ones that I thought I could pay the most attention and put my all into that. Because if I chose a subject that, let's say, my parents would want me to choose, then I wouldn't put as much effort that I would want to put in and get the grade that I needed. So I feel like you don't need to know your career, because when you're in year 9, I don't think many people know what they want to do.
No. And I think it's so important to do it based on your interests so you can build your
Yes,
skills.
definitely.
Life can take you in so many different directions, not necessarily to the career path that you've chosen when you're younger. So it's better to do it based
Yeah.
on your interests.
Okay, and what about for advice for A-level students as well? Will that still apply then?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think, but we're not at A level, so we wouldn't know what to say.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I think with that it's quite teachers do push you to aspire to a
Yes,
specific
definitely.
path, because those A levels take you to the university to do the course.
Right, okay.
But even if you take your interests, your choice of interest, it will be beneficial to you.
Brilliant. Thank you, ladies.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you for the question.
So after the break, what we will be covering is how options can help you in the future.
Yep, and we're also going to be talking about if you need help in choosing what to do, and also tips on how to choose your options from people who have made all the mistakes.
Oh, that's interesting, because I got a question that's come in saying, do they have to choose triple GCSE sciences?
Oh,
Shall we leave that till after the break?
Yes,
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
leave
yeah.
that off.
Okay, so do you want to remind everybody how they can get in touch with the studio, because you've got 2 minutes remaining?
Okay, so if you want to call in, the telephone number is 01902 972 150. And if you would like to WhatsApp our number on 07440 420 432. But remember, you cannot call on WhatsApp. So the WhatsApp text is 07440 420 432.
Landline?
Landline 01902 972 150.
Yes, and remember that you can find our number on the website,
Yep.
which is www.ramadanradiowolves.com, and also on our Facebook Live. So if we just quickly recap on what we've spoke about so far, is we've talked about what options actually are, and the core subjects.
And which ones are compulsory to do. And we've also talked about the foundation subjects.
And what we've also talked about is what GCSE options are there, so the different types of things that you can choose.
For example, modern foreign language,
Music and drama and performing arts,
a humanities subject like history, geography, or religious studies,
a technical subject like design technology, food tech, or even computer science,
And we've also talked about which GCSE should I take and how to determine what you should take. And the 3 different steps, which are number 1, to look ahead.
Number 2, to give yourself enough time.
And number 3, to do what's best for you.
So we hope that what we've said so far has benefited you, and we hope to see you
After the break.
Assalamu alaikum. You are listening to Ramadan Radio. I am your teen host, Shehreen.
And I'm your teen host, Lybah. Welcome back to our Teens Talk Show.
So, if any of you want to listen to our previous shows, you can look on our Facebook page, or you can go to you can listen on our you can listen to us on Ramadan Radio Wolves app. You can visit the website www.ramadanradiowolves.com or www.ramadanradio.net.
Just a reminder, our WhatsApp number is 074 40 420 432. That's 074 40 420 432. Remember, you cannot call on WhatsApp. Our studio number is 01902 972 150. 01902 972 150.
And also, don't feel shy to text or call
Yes,
in.
we love it.
Yes, we really appreciate it. So what we were discussing before the break were options. So we spoke about what options are.
The subjects that are compulsory at GCSE level, which are English, Maths and Science.
We also spoke about the different types of options there are for GCSEs, which we will go into more detail in our following weeks.
And we also talked about 3 tips that we need to keep in mind when we're deciding which GCSEs you could take.
So those were looking ahead,
Giving yourself enough time.
and do what's best for you.
So we had a question before the break.
Right, the question was, do you have to choose all 3 sciences?
So with this, it varies with every school.
Yes.
If we talk about our school specifically first, and then we'll go on to what other
Yes.
schools generally do. So for our school, what they do is, as we are in a state school, they do it based on assessments, as we have a very wide range of learning
Yes.
ability. So we have many, I think 4
4 assessments in 1 year.
Yes, and based on all of those, throughout the whole year, they will be testing you and recording the results,
Yeah.
and to help them decide what's best for you.
So they decide if you either take triple science or combined sciences, and they're all based on how well you perform overall in the year.
Yeah, so sometimes when your classwork is very good, but sometimes you don't have a very good day on the exam day,
Yes.
they will take that into consideration.
So
They're not that harsh.
it's not all one day that you need to show your intelligence, it's overall.
Yes. And so what some people may not know is that in combined science, there are 2 different types.
Yes.
There is higher combined and foundation combined, and triple science is higher. So with this, it's also based on ability level. If you are at a higher ability but not to the extent to take all 3 separate,
Yeah.
then that's where they'll put you. And they're just doing it so it can benefit you, so you can get the highest grade of your ability.
Yes. And also with the question, do you need to take triple science? It always depends, because you might not know what your career is going to be in the future, but it can also give you a wide range of things you can do in the future if you do take triple science.
Yes, so for other schools that I'm aware of, sometimes they do give it to you as an option if you want to do triple science or combined science. So many times, as Lybah's just said, the teachers do encourage you to take triple science, as it
Yes.
can open many career doors, but don't feel so pushed and forced that you have to.
Yeah, because you know yourself best. So if you feel like it's going to be too much pressure, which it can be, you don't need to do that.
I hope this answers your question.
Thank you very much for your question.
So now we will talk about how it can feel during the time that you're taking your options.
Yes.
So many year 9s have no idea what career they might eventually go into, and if this is the case, it makes sense for you to choose a broad range of subjects as possible. A good rule to keep is your future options open is to take at least one subject from the 4 entitlement areas on top of the core subjects.
So this always depends on you. It depends on what you're interested in. You don't have to choose something because you feel like it. Well, you could always choose because there's lots of options that you can take. There's a range of like 3. So you can choose one that will help you in your future, one that you're also interested in as a hobby, you can carry that on. So there's always a big range you can choose from. So if you already have a career in mind, or if you're leaning towards studying a certain subject at GCSE, then it's always a good idea to look at the entry requirements for a university course or other training in that area. Taking specific subjects may put you at an advantage when you're applying for further education.
The most important thing is for you to choose a subject that you're good in and that you will enjoy. Try not to choose a course just because your friends are doing it or because you like a teacher. Friendships don't always last and teachers may move on, leaving you stuck with a subject that you don't actually like. So we will go a bit into discussing our journey of options.
Yes. So at the start of, is it year
8?
Year 8. So I chose Spanish as one of my languages. I chose geography out of history and geography, and then I chose art, business studies, and food technology.
So with me, I chose Spanish as well as my language. For my humanity, I also chose geography. And for my 3 options, I chose textiles, business studies, and health and social care.
So you didn't do art and you didn't do food technology?
No.
So with mine, I carried on, out of those subjects, I carried on Spanish because in my school, when you do triple science, you also have to do a language.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to carry on Spanish, and then I did geography as well, and I carried on food technology.
So when I was choosing my subject, I do have a career path in mind, which is medicine. And with that in mind, I didn't base everything on medicine just because that's kind of like in university where you have to concentrate on the med school content. So I chose things that I enjoy, things that I thought would benefit me. So when I chose business studies, I thought it was a really good idea to have a sense, even if it's just for a year, to learn a bit about business, to learn about communication with society. It can help you in so many different ways, like with mortgages,
definitely,
and taxes even. And that is something that will come regardless to you when you're older. And so that was my thought process behind taking business studies. With health and social care, I did put that as my 4th subject because I thought that even if I got it as my GCSE subject, it will be really useful and helpful to just have that beginner's knowledge into the life of medicine. And when I got into it, I did learn quite a lot. It's surprising. I didn't think that it could be so knowledgeable as a subject. What I found with that is that it's very based on like nurses, nursing or like care homes, social workers and things like that. And it was really beneficial as a thing to know when you're going into medicine. And then I took textiles, which I took at my own interest because I love doing art and I love doing product design and making different things. Now, art and product design are also 2 separate GCSEs, so textiles is kind of like a combination. And also it really does help improve your technical skills and your precision when you're making clothes, stitching, or even with your imagination, it kind of widens everything that you think about. The reason I did not choose art was just because art is a very comprehensive subject to take. It takes a lot of time and patience. Sometimes I don't have enough. So that's why I was leaning more towards textiles because I enjoyed it. So those were my 3 subjects, and as you can see, I didn't base them all on my career path
Exactly,
that
yeah.
I had in mind. 2 of them were just out of interest and wanting to know more about it.
So for my thought process, so I've already talked about how I don't have a career in place. So I was thinking about what mostly like stands out to me. What do I think I'm gonna put my most effort in? So so there's always like this joke in my family that like one point in my life I wanted to be a businesswoman. I don't know why. I feel like I just looked up to my dad and I just wanted to do that. So I took business studies on that basis. But like once I actually did it, I realized I learned so much, like you said. Like it tells you so much about the real world, like everything, that I didn't think I was going to learn that much that I did in such a short time. But I feel like that was really beneficial for me. But even so, since I like saw like what was happening, I didn't feel like it was for me to carry it on as much as the other 2. So then the other one I took was art. And for art, so I love art. Like I love it. I still do it to this day. But as a subject, as you said, it takes so much time. So like for the assessments that we have in year 9, I could even tell that I didn't have that much time to revise for those because I was doing art constantly. So that was a good idea for me. That told me that I can't carry that on for GCSE just for me, from my personal opinion. So I dropped art as well. And then my last one was food tech. So for me, I did that. I don't know. I just chose that one just because I didn't know what else to choose. And that, I mean, it showed me because it was such a fun lesson because it's not all just about cooking. You learn so much about food and health safety, things about an establishment that I never thought you would learn in food tech because I thought just making stuff every single week and just taking it home.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things that you can learn about food establishments and health and safety, and I found that really interesting. So that's why I chose to carry that one.
That's very good because I'm sitting here, like I says, I am old school, and it's good that you girls are talking about this and deciding on which subjects are good and which aren't.
Yeah.
And you're telling people to think about the career, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that the subjects that you have talked about, especially from your experience as well, the things that you love,
Yeah.
pick those subjects
Yes.
because you're more likely to do better at them, and also you're more likely to understand the subject a lot more
Yeah.
Yeah.
and get the results that you need. And where you chose art
Yeah.
and you chose another subject,
Yeah.
again, that sort of creates the right balance, doesn't
Yeah.
it? And stuff like that. So no, that's really good. And then I like the fact what you said as well. Don't go for a subject that your friends are going with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And also not to go for a subject where your teacher, where you like your teacher.
Yes.
So I think that was a very, very good tips because like you says, friendships don't last very
They
often.
don't. Yeah.
And like you says, the teacher at some point could leave and move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So very good, very useful tips there. I'm really surprised that you girls are really giving this good information out to
Thank you.
the
Thank
students
you.
as well. So well done, girls. What about future salary? Have any of your friends thought about a salary and a career and they're just going forward towards that with choosing the subjects?
Not
Not
really.
Not really.
really.
Not really.
I'm actually quite surprised, if I'm honest,
Yeah.
that nobody around us has actually had that complete just going with that one career.
Yeah.
I think that also does come with our teachers constantly encouraging us to not just close all
Our
doors.
options. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So it's best to just choose your subjects, get on with it,
Yeah.
see what results you get, and you can always think about the career afterwards
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Good.
Because I feel like if you choose like one career path like straight off the bat, then you close off lots of things, and let's say halfway through you realize you don't want to do it, you're kind of stuck. But if you have everything open, you can just
Yeah.
see what you want to do.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about how if you need help choosing. So schools normally hold an options evening where you can meet the teachers and discuss what taking a GCSE in their subject involves.
Talk to teachers at Parents' Evening to find out how your child is doing in that subject and whether they would recommend taking it for GCSEs.
Speak to pupils who are taking or have taken GCSEs in the subjects you are considering. Ask them what it's really like to study the course. For example, how much homework do you get? Is there coursework or just a final exam? And what do they like and dislike about the subject?
And if things go wrong and you end up taking a course that really doesn't suit you, don't panic. It's often possible that you can change your option in the first few weeks of year 10. So with this, I think these are really beneficial points for anyone who is looking to choose their options soon. Just because you've had, say, one options evening, it doesn't mean that any other questions can't be answered.
Yes.
You can always go to your teacher at break, lunch, beginning of school or after to just discuss with them, because I'm sure they'll be willing to talk to you and give you more advice.
Yeah, because that's what they're there for. They always want to do the best for you. And for me, I took like the third point really, because what I did when I was deciding, I asked the people above the year above me and my sister who has already done her GCSEs. So I was asking like, which one should I choose? But then again, I took what they said and then I made my own decision based on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really important, because sometimes you won't exactly understand what comes with it just by it being wrote on a piece of paper. You do need to ask other people with their experiences. Some people may love the subject completely and recommend it. Some people may have a few issues and they can explain their reasoning, but everyone is different, and don't make your decision just because of what one person has told you.
Yeah.
So now we will be giving top tips on choosing your options from young people who have made all the mistakes. So don't just pick a subject because your mates are doing it. It's your own life. I think this one's really important.
Yeah, definitely.
I think so,
Because as soon as you go away from secondary school, you're kind of by yourself.
Yeah, you're kind of by yourself.
And you go with your own uni, your own sixth form. You separate from the people you've been with for 5 years.
Exactly.
And they won't matter to you anymore, because it's you who has to go through the hardships and through the good parts too.
And you'll also find new friends along the way. Like it's because in year 7, you're like, I found this group of people. They're going to be with me for the rest of my life. But that's just not true, is it? So always do what you want to do. Don't follow other people. So the next one is, don't pick a subject on the spur of the moment or because it sounds new and fun, as it could wear off. I feel like this one's really important because that was what I thought with art. But I was like, it's just going to be so fun. I'm just going to talk to my friends like every single lesson, but there's so much more goes behind it.
Also, don't pick a subject just because it is taught by your favourite teacher. Likewise, try to avoid a subject just because you're not too keen on the teacher. There is no guarantee that you'll be taught by the same person. So I think with this, it kind of really hit us with our humanities.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like
Yeah.
all of the histories teachers or all of the geography teachers, but that might not be the case. With me, what happened is in year 9, I had one teacher and they were really good, but I really wanted this other teacher for the next year. And then in year 10, a new teacher had arrived at our school, and I had him as a teacher. And in my opinion, I think he's one of the best out of the department, and I feel so lucky to have had him as a teacher, because he's not only really knowledgeable in the subject, he's also not, he's like has a sense of humour and isn't just completely strict.
See, I feel like it depends. Yeah, your teacher can always influence what you want to do, but you can have, because in year 7 and then you go into year 8, you're not having the same teachers for every single subject. They all change. And I feel like don't just pick it if you don't like a teacher. So the next one is, don't avoid a subject that you may want to take on to further education, as you may need a secondary school qualification for it first. Because we've also talked about not basing everything on your career path, but it can also benefit you if you do really want to do that.
Yes, it's kind of if you have a very clear vision
Yes.
and you're likely to get there, it's good to have that foundation
Yeah.
level
Mhm.
first. So also don't presume you know everything about the subject which will be taught. Ask your teachers for more information as much as possible. So, as we've discussed previously, don't just assume what a subject holds based on its name.
Yeah.
Say, for example, with business studies, people might think it's just about money or it's
Yeah.
just about creating a company, but it's so much more.
Yeah, there's so many different things that go behind in creating a company that you learn in business studies as well.
Yeah.
The next one is, and perhaps most importantly, don't stress out too much and pick subjects you feel you will enjoy doing for the next 2 years. And good luck.
So with this one, it's so important to not feel so stressed out.
Yeah, it can
or
be
get
really-
your head wrapped
yeah.
around it too much. So with this, it can really, it's just a thing that comes, it's just a step
Yeah.
along the way. And it's compared to the grand scheme of things, it's quite a small step,
Yeah.
but it can impact you in a certain way.
And it might seem scary because it's the first time you're in control of your education, but you just need to see what you find the most appealing and everything will go on fine from that.
So, ladies, have you ever regretted making your GCSE choices then?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think,
Who
yeah.
would you put that down to? Yourself or teachers, parents, advisors, career advisors?
I feel like, yeah, me. I'd say me. Because I thought I knew the most at that point, but obviously I didn't. And because it all went fine in the end, so I feel like if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be where I am now.
Okay. What about you, Shehreen? We've got a minute left.
For me, only at one point when I realised exactly how much work
Yeah.
was had to put into it, I kind of thought, why didn't I take a different one? However, it's with every subject, and when I
Yes.
don't take it, I don't actually know how much work that subject might have. So I think people just need to go along with it, and it will pay off in the end.
Definitely. And I think it's also worth speaking to a role model or a mentor,
Yes,
or even getting
definitely.
guidance from your teachers. Right, you've got 30 seconds to end the show now.
So next week we'll be having a break, but the week after that we'll continue to our next episode of our options series.
If you want to listen to any of our previous shows or live, you can go to Ramadan Radio Wolves app, the website www.ramadanradiowolves.com, www.radioramadan.net, and also on our Facebook Live.
Thank you all for listening.